What's up, Sunbros? Welcome back. More Dark Souls 3. We're here in Firelink Shrine. I've changed into the Drang outfit, which we picked up when we were fighting those giants in Cathedral of the Deep. This is the stuff that was laying around their feet, this armor. It's simply lighter than the Knight armor or the Fallen Knight armor. It doesn't necessarily offer better protection, but with that lightweight, it keeps us under the 70% weight ratio there, so that we can use this exiled curved greatsword, which is pretty sweet. And I've upgraded it to +4 now, and we're going to continue on. Also, Saris is here now because we handed in those ashes that we found at the top of the Dream Chaser's ashes from the top of the tower where we pledged to the old Wolf of Farron for that covenant. If you remember, behind the illusory wall there was those ashes. We traded those in, and then when I reset the bonfire here or came back to Firelink Shrine, Saris is here, and she just gave us a gesture and tells us that if we need her, she'll be there to help.
If you should require assistance, use my sign, Blessing of the Moon, upon your journey.
So definitely probably summon her at some point.
Gaining admission.
Hawkwood's still just talking the same old shit about the Abyss Watchers, who we are about to go encounter. Pretty excited to use this new weapon. It's going to be a little different moveset for sure than the previous sword we were using. And this shield is 100% physical, the Dragon Crest shield, but it also has like very, very high fire resist. And I figured why not, as when we get into the Abyss Watchers fight, the second phase of the fight is going to add fire to the weapon that they're using. Now there's a couple things we're going to do here before we go onward there. We're going to come up here. There's more of these crazy bird guys that transform, as you can see. That's pretty sweet. We're one-shotting guys with our charged attack now. Might as well start from back here and come behind these guys if we can, now that the caster's not there to transform them all at once. That's certainly going to make this more helpful. Try out this weapon art here. Sweet. Yeah, 400 damage on the heavy attack there, uncharged. And we got his staff. I think we already have one of those staffs, but nonetheless cool to get. Definitely a cool weapon I'm looking forward to using for sure. Don't think there's anything up here. No. We aren't going to be going straight to the boss because there is some things to do here. Are some things to do, I should say. I'm not sure if we're just going to drop down here. So don't recall if this path leads us anywhere. Oh, this is exactly where we just came up, duh. So yeah. Easy to get turned around in some of these places, obviously, as is the intention. I'm just going to check my notes here real quick for an item list and see what's expected. Okay, so yeah, we do have a crystal lizard as well as a few other things upcoming. These guys here, we're actually going to curve around. Yeah, this is the way here. And there's a bonfire right up ahead here. So we're gonna grab this. Might as well rest. And there should be, I believe, a crystal lizard up here as well as a shortcut back to the Road of Sacrifices. Get some. Here's our crystal lizard. Staggered him back. Charge attack. Wham. And 2 Titanite scales. That is sweet. So we will be able to upgrade our other greatsword that we've been using. We'll open this up. And if you recall, this is the way back to the Road of Sacrifices. Where these dudes are. And the Black Knight straight ahead. Oh, come on, as if that doesn't knock you down. And just because I feel like it, we're gonna actually fight this Black Knight. Just in case he drops a piece of his armor or his sword here. Trade. Probably don't want to trade damage with those guys. For the exact reason that you just saw. They do a hell of a lot of damage. We'll try that again. Just because I'm stubborn. Oh. Obviously this weapon swings pretty slow, but if you get your timing right, it's devastating. Oops. And I've played enough with great swords, or ultra great swords I should say, that I'm fairly used to the slower swinging weapons. It's actually going to be more of a change for me once I get into a more dexterity specific weapon. Doing the faster stuff. Missed that horribly. And almost died again right there. Oh, that fucking poke. So if you're watching the rest of the playthrough last time, you could see how quickly I dispatched this guy with a good parry. And now you can see more what he's usually like, which is pretty devastating. Getting hit by any of these moves is pretty much a death sentence. Oh. Don't know if we can parry that move. The poke, but... Oh. They are just punishing. Can't even get off a heal. Used all my Estus flasks. There we go. And he dropped nothing, but that's okay. Farming those guys for their gear is definitely a worthwhile pastime. Black Knight gear, including that ultra great sword he was just wielding. As you saw, that moveset's pretty punishing. But we got what we came for down there. We're gonna head back this way. We're gonna head up and around to the right here. Grab an item over here. Forgot about you. Oh, I like that. That spinning move that you do after the dodge there. After a roll, I should say. So those guys are going to fight each other. We're going to come up here. Grab this other item. One-shot these dudes. I'll tell you, I'm liking this sword. I've seen it before, I've never used it in a playthrough. There's just so many good options in this game for weapons. It's hard to kind of use everything unless you're doing multiple playthroughs, which obviously I have. But I've never actually used this specific weapon, so we're gonna try and charge a ship. Boom. Take that, son. Charge another one of this guy. Wow. Just, yeah, like, I mean, if your timing's on, these guys will always drop cracked red eye orbs by default. But as I was saying, if your timing's on clearly with this thing, I mean, it's devastating. Like most ultra great swords, if you're landing the charged up R2 attack, this one here that I was just using, it's pretty devastating if it's landing. So you can actually hear the Abyss Watchers fighting inside. They'll destroy anything that's been touched by the Abyss. Ironically, they themselves, from fighting the Abyss for so long, and Abyss creatures have been drawn to it, so they are fighting amongst themselves. And for anybody, like if you've played Dark Souls 1, or just in regards to the lore, Artorias is the original wolf knight, I believe is what he's referred to as. Don't quote me on that, but basically these guys are the long lost descendants of, not long lost I should say, but just the descendants of Artorias. And the wolf is a shout out to Sif, Artorias's wolf buddy there. And if you've played Dark Souls 1, you'll notice when we go to the second phase of this boss fight, it actually, the moveset very much resembles Artorias. So we're going to Ember up. There's going to be a lot of signs here. Baseball bat boy. Bordeaux. Someone else. We don't actually want any of those guys. Shroud, no. I thought you could summon Goddard, or however you say his name here. Maybe this is him. Yeah, Blackhand Goddard. So we're gonna do that. And then when he comes, we're gonna go into this boss fight. And he'll give us that gesture that he just did. And also his twin swords that he's using here are probably going to be a good weapon for us later with this quality build. Get our flasks ready. This is one of my favorite boss fights of all Dark Souls games. The fight itself is pretty good. The soundtrack is epic, which you'll hear when it starts. The lore implications are huge. A great shout out to Dark Souls 1. And you can see this armor there, especially with the little hood face cover. is very much Bloodborne inspired. When we defeat him here, we'll be able to purchase that set. He's gonna actually have other guys come in and summon to help him. And they will actually attack each other. They can be parried and backstabbed, as you can see here. Oh. So he summoned help. But a third one will arrive, who is actually not here to help him. This guy. The one with the red eyes will actually attack whoever's closest, so that's me right now. Guttard's just in there like a champ. So yeah, we'll let them duke it out. We'll heal up. Try and get a charge attack off if we can, which we did. So the health bar is not actually going to be the end of the fight. This is just the first phase, as you'll see now. With Goddard here, it definitely makes this fight a lot easier. I've beaten this fight, I've beaten every boss fight in this game in my first 2 playthroughs solo. So I know some people bitch about, oh, you shouldn't be summoning help, and if you haven't beaten the boss, blah blah blah, but fuck that. I've beaten these guys with strength build, strength faith build, never a dex build. And now he's getting fire on his weapon. And this will be the first Abyss Watcher, absorbing the power of his down brethren. Just epicness all around. We might need to use our shield now. He'll be a little more aggressive. He's got fire on his weapon. Up here. I'm gonna use this weapon art because it's badass. And completely miss him with it. That hit him. Heal just in case. Try and land that jumping attack on him. And that's our first Lord of Cinder fallen. Right on. Thanks for the help. He's done now, and yeah, we're gonna head back to Firelink Shrine and we'll start the next video from there. Until then.